Alright, I have just been given the green light. Here we go! Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time 3D with Ben Stephens. Good luck, have fun, and take it away. Good luck, have fun, and take it away.
Hey. Gonna play some video games. I know we're a little behind on schedule, so I'm just gonna hop right into it. Are we ready on the timer? I'm just gonna go with hopefully yes. I'm gonna count down. 3, 2, 1, go. Heck yeah. Yeah, can we get some booyahs in the chat real quick? Can we get some booyahs? Hey, this is Zelda.
Hey.
We're gonna do it fast.
Zelda.
I'm Ben. And
I'm Game Stable.
that's him. That's what I'm getting at. Hope everyone's enjoying their quarantine right now. File name is sanitized because that's what you should be doing at home.
Link is alone at home right now.
Yeah, he's self-isolating a little bit. That's I'm trying to think, how can we describe the plot of this game? How can we like rework what's happening to make it like you know, about current events? Can we be like,
Link is having a nightmare about leaving his house right now.
yeah. I like it. All right. Well, I'm going to talk about the game a little bit. So, the text in this game is a lot faster than the N64 version. There's also a 1-frame window where if you hit the B button, it scrolls like even faster on every single text box. And the reason you want to do that is because, once again, you want to be out of your house for as long as possible, or for as you know, as little as possible. So you want to go through the text as fast as you can, because then you can go back home sooner and wash your hands. That's it. Yeah, this cutscene's cool.
Navi is flying around and making sure to visit every single person along the way.
Make sure they're keeping their distance. Hey, you'll notice, right? If you look closely here. Alright, you see that right there? That's a sink. You notice Link does not
I see.
Link does not have a toilet in his home, but he does have a sink. And you know why that is. Because he be washing his hands. This is gonna get old really fast if we keep doing this.
Yep, I'm already pretty tired.
That's great. Okay. Well, we're leaving. We're leaving the house. Very scary. Okay, so I guess I should talk about, like, right, we're doing all dungeons. It says it there underneath the gameplay.
What does that mean? What is all dungeons?
Right, so what do you do in all dungeons? Well, I'll tell you. So we're going to beat all dungeons, and then we're gonna beat the game. But that leads to another excellent question. What is a dungeon? So beating a dungeon, right, is defined as completing an area with a blue warp in it, right? So areas like Ice Cavern and like Gerudo Training Grounds and Bottom of the Well aren't considered dungeons because they don't have blue warp. And so where you're not going to complete those, and you complete a dungeon by stepping into the blue warp and triggering the completed dungeon state, which, yeah, so pretty cool. So
I think that's pretty cool.
I think it's cool. So we have the sword here, and we're just gonna peace out. Oh.
This is a trick that used to only work on 3DS, but now they can do it on the original game too. But
Having a little
if
trouble
you
with
slash
it.
Yeah, if you do like a triple slash here at the right angle and put away your sword at the right time, you get this large backwards burst of speed. And you can go right through the guard.
That was pretty bad. So yeah, that used to only work on, like Game Table was saying, that used to only work on 3DS, but very recently they figured out that there's a certain way to do that method of that trick on N64, and it's cool because they used to really need a shield to escape the forest or do something like a lot more difficult, but now they can do it with just a sword, so it's pretty cool. Yeah, that wasn't phenomenal. Cool, so now we have the Ocarina. And so I want to say the first maybe like 15 minutes of this run are kind of a decent amount of walking around, just collecting a couple of items to kind of set up some of the stuff. Actually, probably like the first almost 20-25 minutes of the run are really just like collecting items and setting stuff up. But it's kind of more cutscenes in like the first 15-ish minutes, because really we need like Zelda's letter. And once we have that, we can kind of start doing some of the more interesting stuff. But for now, we just kind of gotta do some of this nonsense. Not to say that it's not still difficult. There's kind of a tight cycle I'm trying to make here as far as day-night goes. So I guess one thing that's kind of important to ask is, a lot of people ask, hey, do all of the same things work from N64? And to that I'll say no. But some do, and some don't. And there are some new ones. So it kind of creates a nice little variety of different things that you're going to see and experience through this magical journey of a speedrun. And it is magical. Okay, I'm just going to pick up a couple of rupees here. I need 40 rupees.
This run gets to show off some of the cool new glitches.
Right. So a couple of months ago, in very late December, there was a lot of really bad things that we had to do that were just super slow and boring, and no one really liked them. But now we're gonna skip all of those super slow and boring things because of some new tech that was found, and we're gonna do very cool, flashy things instead. That'll make you go ooh, and it might even make you go ah. Can't guarantee that, but
yeah. If you, I see someone mentioned, if you saw the run of this category at AGDQ, was it AGDQ 2017? Is that right?
It was, yes.
There is some new stuff that changes around some, especially at the beginning. There's definitely some cool new stuff that you'll see has been added to the run since then.
This route is about 20 minutes faster than that route that was done 3-ish years ago. And if I play well, then this run could be upwards of 40 minutes faster than that run, because that run was it was interesting.
That run did a unique route.
I don't think anyone's ever done that route, and I don't think anyone will ever do it again. I certainly had never done that route before. Oh, man. All right. I shouldn't explain. I got caught by that guard there.
That's no longer an issue.
Yeah, that's no longer an issue. Yeah, I'm in the box. I don't actually have that much time to goof off in the box. Metal Gear Link. So I got caught by that guard there because I need to spawn Malin in this area so she can give me the egg. But she doesn't spawn until you reload the area. And leaving Castletown is a little bit slower because it's like 2 loading zones, and getting caught by the guards just 1. But you kind of got to move fast so that you make that day-night cycle so that you're there, like right at the beginning when it turns daytime. And now this is like probably one of the worst parts of the run. These guys are brutal. Okay, so far they're decent. It's that first guy that's really, really bad. He'll just like randomly catch you, and like it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. I still don't really know why it happens. Okay, they're giving me a decent pattern here. So I'm just gonna... Oh, I'm gonna zip past this guy. Okay. That was pretty good. I hate those guys. Still Metal Gear, actually. Yeah, so that first guard will just like... I don't know why it happens. He'll just randomly catch you from like across the room. It's really, really bad. I don't know how to prevent it. So it's kind of just like, hey, get lucky, idiot. Forehead. But on the flip side, that second guard literally cannot catch you if you do that side hop thing. It's like actually impossible. Like, I don't know why he can't catch you, but he definitely can't. And the thing is that doesn't happen on the N64 version. Like, he can definitely catch you, but he just like can't in this version. So I don't know what they changed, but...
Do we have time for a couple quick donations?
Yeah, right now is actually the best time.
All right, sounds good. We have $30 from Torpedo, who says, as promised, here's the $30 for the amount of tries it took for nuke storage. Good luck to the runners, and this goes towards removing Mario's shirt. These are some suggestive donations here. We have $5 from Cosmic the Dolphin that says, did I hear donation train? Choo-choo. Come on, everyone. We need to see that glorious dad bod that Mario has, and let's all hop aboard the donation train and hit that nipple %, which, by the way, yes, nipple did get censored in the donation comments.
Wonderful.
We have $15 from A Silent Harmony, who says, hi, Sky. Usually the odds of me sharing puns are highly improbable. However, in the spirit of charity, it'd be pretty rudo not to. I know they are Majora Pain, but I know you can power right through. I did. Thank you all so much again. Remember, save, kill, and nipple % for Super Mario Odyssey. You all can donate for those at the same time, so let's see those animals get saved. Back to you.
Hey! So I'm going to talk about tech smashing again, because, you know, one thing that's very difficult about this run is even like on N64 Ocarina of Time, you have like a little bit of downtime here where you can kind of just like chill and just like mask the text. But in this game, I got to be razor focused. Like even during this text, I'm mashing like really, really fast. You'll see all of those text boxes, except for one of them, were speedy text boxes, and those are all frame perfect inputs. So gotta be quick on your feet. Okay, after this cutscene, we're really getting into the thick of it. That's when the good stuff starts to happen.
It's where things will start to look different from the AGDQ run.
Right. So after, I guess, like Goron City is where we're really gonna start seeing the difference here. But these cutscenes they're kind of whatever, you know.
I guess for some context, one of the major differences in speedrunning the original version of this game versus this remake is we don't really have a method of getting early explosives.
Right. So, like getting bombs or bomb chews, both of those items are like really useful. So you kind of want to get those as soon as possible on the N64 version, because you can use those to do a lot of things. But even now, there really isn't a good way to get either of those items quickly without jumping through a lot of hoops. Even in this route, there really isn't a way to get them quickly. And for years, we kind of kept thinking like, oh, okay, what are some theoretical ways that we can get bombs or bomb chews earlier than, you know, the intended method? And we kept thinking about it until, you know, we eventually just kind of skipped over it and instead just found a way to not get them at all So that's kind of what we're going to be doing. Nice. Side hopping in front of that carpenter is kind of hard. You got to be fast. Oh, this guard's text is so slow on N64, but you can make it so fast in this game. But you can also lose a lot of time if you suck.
Yeah, text mashing, like getting the right rhythm on those text skips in this game is like a surprisingly big deal.
It's what separates the boys from the men. It's what separates Gymnast from me. He's too good. He's too good. That was pretty good text. Okay. So we're gonna do a cool little trick here if I get it. It's a little cool. So we're just kind of zooming along here. On N64, doing this particular trick, this does work, but it doesn't go very fast. So what I'm doing here is I got the recoil from that enemy while holding a very specific control stick input where I'm kind of just barely holding the control stick outwards. And when you're in that position of the control stick, Link will kind of do this shuffling in place, and if you target while that happens, you will maintain like any momentum that you have. And so the recoil knockback from the enemy just kind of, I can keep that speed, which is quite fast, so you kind of just shuffle up the trail. It's pretty good. So this part's gonna look really random, but I swear it's not. I'm going to be doing a bunch of movements here that seem pointless, but there's a reason. So pretty much I'm loading and unloading this little room right here in a very specific way. And now I'm going to, once again, I'm going to kind of step in and out of that load plane real quick. And that just unloads the collision for the statue behind Darunia, so we can just walk right past it. Before doing this trick, so the idea here is we're trying to get up to the magic fairy fountain at the top of Death Mountain Trail. And before this, we had this very complicated trick that we had to do, which involved getting a glitch known as ISG, or Infinite Sword Glitch, which is like really difficult in this game, and then luring the Tektite enemies up the mountain, and then hovering off of them, and then doing this nasty out-of-bounds movement. And then we realized that we could just skip all of that by just walking through that statue. So it's pretty dumb.
And as far as I know, I could be wrong. As far as I know, nobody still quite understands exactly why the statue unloads.
I don't think so.
It just kind of does.
Okay, so here we're doing some... I did a seam walk to get out of bounds real quick. Doing some fancy movement here with a particular setup, and you can just barely... It's really precise. You gotta stand in the correct position to get a good angle. You can just barely clip the side of that load zone and get into this fairy fountain. Normally you would need bombs or the hammer to break the wall in front of it, but we don't have either of those. So we're just gonna... I don't think I can say that on stream.
Yeah, so if you have seen older runs of this game, or this category, or the AGDQ run of this category, normally at this point before getting magic, you would have had to do like... You would have to get Saria's song, get the Goron bracelet, go all the way through the Dongo's cavern to get the bomb bag, and then come up here. But with our modern tricks, we can just go here first.
Yep, you can just slide right in.
All of that.
It's pretty good. And that's magic. And now that we have magic, so magic is pretty much just useful for Farore's Wind, which means it's very useful because Farore's Wind is where we're going next. And Farore's Wind is very busted. It's like a very good item for speedrunning. So in original Ocarina of Time, a lot of times the goal is kind of to go get explosives as soon as possible. Whereas in this game, the goal is... I'm going the wrong way. The goal is to kind of get Farore's Wind as soon as possible. And before, the only way to do that was with bombs, but spoilers, we're not going to be getting bombs to get Farore's Wind. So, yeah. But I am going to get a Deku shield. Now, getting a shield here is not required, and it would be a little faster to not get one. But it would also be very difficult, so I'm not going to be doing that. And I will eventually need a shield anyways, so it's not... It probably wastes maybe like 5-10 seconds to get it now as opposed to later. Alright, so I have to listen to an audio cue here, because right now, as soon as you enter into the area, Navi, there's a timer that starts counting down until she wants to talk to you, and I'm going to need to use text boxes. Okay, and it also depends on how quickly I master that text, and I got pretty much perfect text, so depending on how good your text is, you're going to need to use a different audio cue from the music that's playing in this area. So, because I want to do a certain action as soon as Navi is available to talk to. So this is where we do the sing-along part. We go do 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 do, and that's it. So we can do the triple slash. And so I didn't explain it when we escaped the forest at the beginning. I did that same kind of motion where you slash the sword 3 times and then put it away. Oh. But pretty much what happens is in this game, when you slash your sword 3 times in quick succession and then put your sword away, you take like this massive step backwards. You kind of just like teleport like 2 feet behind Link, and it's really fast. So you can do that for like clipping through acute angles. You can also do it for diving off of ledges, and it's cool. So when the text box is up, you actually like unload the water's collision, so you can just kind of fall right through it. It's very cool. Alright, I'm gonna need to grab a Deku stick here and some Deku nuts.
And actually, in 1 second here is another example of the exact same tech.
Right. This is, I think, the last time we see this. Oh, actually, no, we see it again in this category. But yeah, so this is probably the most traditional usage of it, where you just kind of clip through a corner like that. That's usually how you're going to see that trick used. And it's very fast. That's
and that
a great
trick
question.
right there just skips King Zora.
Game Stable, can you tell me why do they call it oven when you oven the cold food? About hot, eat the food.
I cooked my brain trying to read this.
Why do they call it ravioli when the can opener doesn't work? And you get ravioli all over your feet, so you have to wash your feet in the bathtub.
It just happens sometimes, okay? It's not that weird.
Okay, so this trick is kind of really annoying and difficult. So you'll notice right now I'm floating just a tiny little bit, and pretty soon I'm going to be floating more than a tiny little bit. All right, cool. I'm going to explain all of this when I'm done with it, but just bear with me.
This is another new magic trick that we have from the recent months.
All right, this may or may not work. This is very finicky. I think I was a little late there. I'm going to have to set this up again. Ooh. Okay, I thought maybe that wasn't high enough. Okay. Yeah, this, what I'm about to do, like right here, is super precise. Cool. All right.
Nice.
So basically, I'm going to explain. So the second part where I'm clipping through the wall there, that's actually not that, complicated. There's kind of just a very specific spot where if you jump slash, there's like a floating point error or something. You just go through the wall. But the specific point is like really precise. Now the first part is a lot more interesting. So it looks like I'm just kind of floating, and I just kind of use an invisible elevator to just kind of fly into the air. But actually what's happening is there is a very, very small, very steep piece of collision that extends quite high into the air right there. And it's known as an invisible seam. And basically how it works is sometimes when there's like polygons that meet underneath Link, they just kind of create this weird little invisible seam on the ground that goes really, really high up. And climbing that seam is difficult, but, you know, you can do it.
It's another thing about this game that we just, like, we still don't really understand why those invisible seams happen.
And so the other thing
they're
is,
all over the place, and sometimes they're useful, like that one.
those, it seems, they also exist in the N64 version of the game. But there are less of them, and I don't think there's an instance of any of them going nearly as high as the ones go in this game. So I don't really get it. It's like pretty wacky. Dude, get all those gift subs. Hell yeah. Can we get some booyahs in the chat? Can we get some quick booyahs real quick? Hell yeah.
And notably, I see you put Fur's Rind in the intro to Jabu, but did not actually do the dungeon, which is weird because this is an all dungeons speedrun.
Yeah, we're not, forget that, we're not doing any of the dungeons. No, that's a lie. We will be doing all of the dungeons. Now, as I said earlier, Fur's Wind is very busted, so we're gonna come back to Jabu, but right now, I'm just gonna go this way and do some stuff here. Gee, I wonder what the next dungeon will be. Considering,
I mean, the last with Jabu was pretty misleading. So
it was. So, hey, I'm not trying to
do Deku Tree more than once.
No, that would be silly. Why would I do that? There's some 40 chess going on right now. Okay, so I'm in Deku Tree. And I'm actually going to beat it. It's cool. Alright, so I'm going to grab some extra Deku Nuts here. Now, the synergy of this route right now is kind of incredible. It's slightly less incredible due to a new glitch that we found like a week or two ago. But it's still kind of excellent, and I kind of love it because to get past the very first room of Jabu, until like a week or two ago, we needed some form of projectile to hit the switch that was on the ceiling, which could be like slingshot or boomerang or even bombs would work, because there was just no way to get up to that switch. We actually kind of just found a way to not need any of those things, but forget about that for a second, because this route actually requires getting the slingshot for something else. And so it's just like this excellent synergy of like, hey, we need the slingshot for something else. We can get it to get through the first room of Jabu, and it's going to be really cool. Yeah, this route is kind of fantastic. It's actually so good. I think usually routes have like one or two things where it's like, this is kind of bad, but like it's worth it because everything else is really good. I think there's like almost no bad part in this route. It's just like the synergy is fantastic.
Yeah, this is a good route. Yeah, with all the new tricks, routing this game, like other categories, has been very difficult. Because there are still just certain things we can't do. But this route's really good.
Oh, I'm struggling here. All right, there we go. All right, so that's an example of a mega side hop, where you can use invincibility frames with like a side hop to or backflip to just go really fast, really far, and then we combine that with a with something known as anti-gravity, where Link's head just kind of sticks to ceilings, and we can break that second web and just, you know, go right through it. The angle is just like perfect. It just lines you up. All right. So now we're gonna beat our first boss. About a half hour in, we're gonna kick his butt. So this is Goma. Goma is the hardest boss in the game. That's a lie.
I actually agree with that.
Goma's really easy. Okay, Goma's actually really difficult in some situations, but in this one, quite easy. Quite easy. Alright, I'm gonna grab...
Probably talk about what's about to happen.
Oh, yeah. Or I could just do it, and we could... Did I save? I don't think so. I could just do it, and we could just not talk about it. We could do that, too. No, we should probably talk about it. So what I did right there is a combination of glitches. And I made it look very casual and very easy, but what I just did there in those like last 10 seconds were actually really difficult. And a big reason which discourages a lot of people from running this game. So basically, I did a glitch known as restricted items, where you have one frame where you can use items that you're normally not allowed to use. So in boss rooms, you normally cannot use Farore's Wind. However, using that glitch, we can absolutely use Farore's Wind. But like I said, it's frame perfect, and it's kind of really dumb. And so what I did is I had Farore's Wind set in Jabu Jabu, and what the game tries to do is it tries to play the beating the Deku Tree cutscene in Jabu Jabu, right? But Jabu doesn't have that cutscene, and so there's kind of like cutscene overflow. Like it adds a number onto the entrance table, and it tries to play that cutscene in that area. And so what it actually tries to do is it tries to play the cutscene number of beating the Deku Tree in the royal family tomb. So, which happens to be the Sun Song cutscene, but the game also puts you out of bounds. And so what happens is the Sun Song cutscene starts, and then you void out, and then it takes you back to where Farore's Wind is supposed to take you, with Jabu. And so the reason I do that is just because the Sun Song cutscene is really short, and the Deku Tree cutscene is really long. But yeah, it's hard. And right now is maybe a good time for donations, because I'm just going to carry Rudo around for a minute.
All right, there's a lot of good ones here. I hope y'all are ready. We have $20 from Bash Prime, who says, big thanks to Nintendo for making Mario's nipples canon. I no longer need to go to fan sites to see them in their true glory. My goodness, Bash. We have $100 from the Sound Defense, who says, embrace sexual freedom, free the nipples. I can't believe I'm reading that. We have $20 from Ian, who says, if the animals die in Super Metroid, you die in real life. Hashtag save the animals. And a quick save kill update here. Kill's still winning by about $600 or so, 1,970 to 1,362. So if you want to see those animals saved, please save them. Also, it is important to note that you can donate for both the SMO nipple percent run and save kill at the same time. So you help both causes in one donation. So please be sure to get those in. Currently on the nipple percent run, we are $398 out of 1,250. Let's see some progress towards that. And let's save those animals. Thanks, Ben. And I love these explanations, by the way. They're pretty awesome.
I try. Sometimes I go a little too hard, though. Okay. So now we have the boomerang. The reason we need the boomerang is because it's kind of impossible to beat the boss of this dungeon without it. Except maybe
sometimes
not
called
anymore.
Baronade.
Yeah, sometimes called Baronade. Except maybe not. It's a little complicated. All right, I'm going to be doing something kind of cool and flashy here, but also a little bit difficult. What's this guy doing? Okay. Okay. He's trying to spook me, man. Alright, he went a totally weird way right there. and made that really scary because I had no idea how to time that. Okay, so that was a mega flip off of the Beery right there, but that gap is like really precise. Oh, I'm sorry. My capture card just ooped. That happens very rarely, so very cool that it happened right here. I got it back on. Yeah, very, very cool. So what I did right there is that was a little trick boomerang where you can kind of just throw it up there, and yeah, it's good. So hey, here's Baronade. I'd say this is actually one of the harder bosses in the run. I'd say not many of the bosses are that difficult, but this one's pretty difficult to do like very, very fast. Because we're gonna do these quick stuns here, where we can kind of just take out those jellyfish real quick.
Baronade's the best boss in this game.
I think Baronade's really fun to fight. I think Baronade and Phantom Ganon are both really good. Oh. And I'm taking intentional damage right there. I'm actually not taking damage because I have invincibility frame, but I'm getting knocked back because that makes Baronade keep moving again a little faster. So that's Jabu. Very good.
Very good.
You love to see it. Okay.
It's 2 dungeons, 2 quick ones.
That's 2 quick ones, the double, I believe is what they say. Right? Who's they?
Maybe. Who is they? Am I they?
You very well may be. Okay. So that was Jabu. If we do have any more donations, this is maybe another really good time for one. A quick one.
All right, that sounds good. We have $20 from Bash Prime, who says, I caught a black bass, the most metal of all fish. Nice Animal Crossing reference there, Bash. All right, you're good to go.
What's the deal with the bass in Animal Crossing? What's up with that? I don't play Animal Crossing. Keep seeing people talking about bass.
Feud ended with black bass. Now water egg is my enemy.
Wow. You should play Animal Crossing if you haven't. It's worth it.
There's so many other games out right now. I've been like so behind because, oh my goodness.
I'm telling you, I didn't think I would enjoy it. I'm like hardcore gamer, Magic the Gathering, World of Warcraft, but I'll tell you something, Animal Crossing's really good. Like really good. I've
been tempted, but it's been like Resident Evil, Doom, Neo, Half-Life. Like, come on, man.
I think Oth just judged you for not playing Animal Crossing yet.
I'm judging him for judging me. How about that?
Oth said he can live with it.
Great. Next time I see him at AGDQ, I won't say that I like his tweets, because I think that's what I do every time. See him in the elevator, be like, hey, nice tweets, brother.
Always in the elevators.
Oh yeah, Persona 5? Come on. It's too much. Too much! Alright. So I just set Furor's Wind in that really specific spot once again, and once again, that's a frame perfect glitch to make that happen. I guess I can explain that glitch. So basically, the way that works is you'll see if you look at my bottom screen that the icon for Furor's Wind is like dimmed out. Like I can't use it. I'm actually gonna save again here real quick because this is kind of spooky. But the icon for Deku Nuts is not grayed out. So if I take those items in the inventory and I swap them, the first frame where I exit the pause menu, there is one frame where I can use Furor's Wind, but not use Deku Nuts. Oh, it just went over my head. Oh, come on.
That was kind of funny.
I usually target there because it prevents that from happening. Okay.
So this is another new 3DS exclusive glitch.
This is probably one of my favorite glitches in any video game ever because it's kind of great. So this is Death Hole Wrong Warp, where if you die and enter a grotto at the same time, what the game is trying to do is it's trying to load the grotto, but it can't because you're dead. And then what it does is you quit the game, and it tries to take you to the title screen and to where the grotto is supposed to take you at the same time. Which, what that does is it takes you to the entrance of the grotto, but then it adds the entrance value 4 to it, because that's normally what happens when you go to the title screen, is it adds 4. And so what that does is it wrong warps you to an area that's not the grotto, and it also puts you in this weird title screen-esque state known as attract mode. And basically what happens now is every time I enter a loading zone, it'll try to add the number 4 to that loading zone. So if you've ever seen Ocarina of Time beta quest before, beta quest is literally based on what is going to be happening in the next couple of minutes here, which is, if on the original Ocarina of Time, if you could summon this and like be playing the game, this exact same thing would be happening, where loading zones just take you to seemingly random places, actually randomized. Like, we can predict where all these loading zones are going to take me, and it's totally consistent, but it just looks super duper random. Like this one right here is going to look really wacky.
This is a good one.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Thanks for counting with me.
You're welcome, I suppose.
Okay, so I'm in Fire Temple. Not going to beat Fire Temple, though. We're going to do something else here. This is actually probably the scariest part in the run. If I mess this up, I lose Mondo time. I'm just going to give this Keese a little push. All right, he was so nice to me. That was the nicest he could possibly be. Okay.
Nice.
That trick scares me so much. Okay, so what's going on there is that loading zone takes me to Forest Temple, right outside the boss door. But the thing is I can't pause the game to save, because those buttons are disabled. So are all of my other buttons, except for the B button to slash my sword, and the X and Y buttons to use whatever items I have on those buttons. But I can't like change items because the touchscreen's totally locked up. And so basically I get in the room, like I'm in the room in front of the boss door in Forest Temple, but that room is like totally blocked off because there's a gate. And I don't have any bombs, so I need a way to save the game. But I can't, because normally what you would do is you would just use a bomb and you would death warp so that you could save and get out of the weird death hole. Oh, I'm dropping a couple of... Hopefully this passes. Okay, we're good. So normally, like, that's what you would do, but we don't have any bombs. So what we need to do is we need to have the Keese kill me in Fire Temple, and then I need to hit the loading zone before I actually die, so that instead of dying in Forest Temple, or Fire Temple, I die in Forest Temple, and I can save the game and quit and do what I'm about to do here.
And here's another triple slash clip.
Okay, so right now I'm in the basement room of Forest Temple, and in the basement room there's this big spinny contraption thing. But since the room is unloaded, that actor is also unloaded. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you can kind of just walk through a couple of the walls, and I can clip into this one wall and just kind of do a wacky setup to get into the loading zone. And now I'm in the Forest Temple boss room. Now it seems counterintuitive. It seems like trying to beat the Forest Temple as child would be really, really slow. And technically it is slower than trying to beat it as adult. However, it's going to be very important that we do this a bit later. This boss is really fun as child. It's very fun if you have certain items, aka the boomerang. And this is why we need the slingshot, is because the only items that can damage Phantom Ganon when he's in this state, when he's in the painting form, is like first-person projectiles. So like the slingshot, the bow, and the hookshot, because they all have like this one certain property that affects certain actors. So that's why we need that's why we grabbed the slingshot earlier. But having the boomerang here, it's not required, but yeah, Phantom Ganon just doesn't know how to react when he gets hit by the boomerang, so he just like cannot block it. So you can kind of go off on this man. And that looks really impressive. It's actually really easy.
It's 3 bosses.
That's 3. 3 bosses.
Nice.
3 quick ones, the triple. No one actually says that. That's not real. Just wanted to make sure people were on the same page with that one. Okay, so that trick I did at the end of Deku Tree, where I did something wacky with Farore's Wind in the Blue Warp, I'm going to be doing that again, but this time it's going to do something a little different. Okay, good. Again, this is frame perfect, and if you miss it, it wastes like over a minute. Because you got to quit out the game and like walk all the way back to this room. You got to do all that wacky unloaded movement in the basement, and yeah, it's not very good. So I'm gonna set Farore's Wind here because I want to come back in a little bit, but I'm gonna save warp now. I'm gonna go back to Kokiri Forest. Now, one of the things about not having explosives right now is that glitch that I did earlier, the death hole glitch. Normally we can do that in like a ton of places because we can just use bombs. But since we don't have bombs, we need a place that has a grotto and some convenient damage sources. And the Lost Woods is a really, really good one. Oh, yeah. So I guess I should explain. Returning Farore's Wind there, I had already set it in market during that wacky title screen fiasco. And so all that did when I used it there is it just skipped the cutscene. It didn't actually wrong warp. I think we're not considering those wrong warps anymore. Is that correct?
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Yeah, so that's just like a cutscene skip. That's just like, it queues up the cutscene for beating Forest Temple, and it gives you the medallion, and it sets like the dungeon clear flag, but then it just doesn't play the cutscene because you go somewhere else before it has time to.
Do we have time for a few quick donations?
In just a minute, actually. We'll have all of the time in the world.
Sounds good.
So once again, I'm doing the death hole glitch here. I wasn't lying. We will have a lot of time after this because we're about to get to kind of a funny part of the run. And we're going to return to Farore's Wind. And so coincidentally, returning Farore's Wind in the title screen, like death hole mode, while it's set in market, will actually just take you where it's supposed to go. But entering the shooting gallery will not take you where you're supposed to go. That'll take you somewhere else. And entering Temple of Time will also kind of take you where you're supposed to go, like a little bit, like
sort of.
It looks right, but it's not because I'm just right here. And I'm gonna pick up the Master Sword, and we're gonna go adult. Hell yeah! All right, now we have time for a lot of cutscenes or donations. Yes.
Well, we have time for cutscenes as well. You weren't wrong there.
No. You don't even know the extent of it. Yeah, you're going to see here.
Ooh. We have $10 from Bash Prime, who says, truly, we need to finish this marathon by having Author Blues speedrun Chinese BK Land. I don't think he'd agree to do that, but that's a good suggestion. We have another $10 from Bash Prime who says, shoutouts to Mario having to pay an absurd amount of money for the privilege of taking his shirt off. And $50 from the Sound Defense who says, doing my part for an important cause. Thank you all so much. So quick save kill update, 1,970 over 1,452. And then for the SMO nipple percent run, $488 out of 1,250. We are making some progress on that. Let's try to aim for, let's see, we're getting close to 7,500. I believe we can do that relatively soon. And let's see if we can hit the 8 soon, too, as well. I believe in y'all. How many cutscenes are there, by the way, here, out of curiosity?
It depends on what you consider different cutscenes. So there's the Ganondorf cutscene, there's the Light Medallion cutscene, there's the Sheik cutscene, there's the Master Sword cutscene, and there's one more cutscene. So let's just go with 5. Let's go with 5 cutscenes. Even though 3 of them are kind of lumped together, there's 3 cutscenes without breaks, and then there's like kind of technically 5. So it's a lot of cutscenes, and we just happen to have to like watch all of them at the exact same time, and one of them is pretty funny, actually, but most of them are just kind of sitting here mashing text really, really fast. Because once again, almost every single text box has a 1-frame window at the beginning, where if you hit the B button, it goes super quick. So I'm mashing my little heart out. So I just spilled water all over myself. That's really cool.
You should put your feet in the bed.
Shut up.
Stay hydrated, folks.
Stay hydrated. Drink water. Wash your hands. Wash your feet in the bathtub. Oh, yeah. One thing I should mention, right? So all of that wacky title screen, death hole, wrong word nonsense that let me skip the door of time. That particular sequence only works once. And the reason why it only works once is because there are certain cutscenes that'll cancel the death hole like title screen glitch. And the cutscene of entering the Temple of Time for the first time, where it like kind of pans around, you're like, ooh, look, pretty. That cutscene actually cancels it. So picking up the Master Sword actually takes me where it's supposed to go, instead of like trying to add 4 to it and do wacky nonsense and wrong warp me. So it cancels the wrong warp nonsense. Because if that stuff was still happening, the game would actually crash, because it would try to take me somewhere that like doesn't actually work. So the game that door of time skip only works one time, because that cutscene needs to play in order for the game not to crash. So this cutscene's pretty good. This is the cutscene where Navi's like, "Hey, dude, look, it's that legendary blade, right? The Master Sword." But we kind of already have the Master Sword. There it is. And yep, it's the Master Sword. Legendary. I have not heard that one. Thank you. So the reason we had to go and beat the Forest Temple as Child was because, as I said, you can only do that door of time skip once. And every other door of time skip that we have the capability of doing takes a significant amount of setup and are kind of difficult. So if we leave the Temple of Time right now, getting back behind the door is super non-trivial. Like, it's actually a big pain. And we really need the Prelude of Light. Actually, we don't. No, we do need the Prelude of Light, but not for anything like particularly important. Like, we don't need to play the song, but we need to watch this cutscene, because that sets a flag. Not watching the cutscene, having the Prelude in your inventory sets a flag for something very important that's going to help us do some crazy shenanigans. So pretty much, but you can't watch this cutscene until you've beaten Forest Temple. So basically what we did is we beat Forest Temple, and then we got the Master Sword, so that we're just right here and we don't need to door of time skip again. So that's why the synergy is cool as hell. And hey, that's adult segment. We're gonna go back to Child. Now the thing is, Adult has like a lot of great capabilities and can probably do more technical stuff than Child because of the items, but Having to get all of those items are like kind of slow. Plus, I want to go back to Kokiri Forest, which, as Child, a save warp will take you back to Kokiri Forest very, very quickly. So I'm just going to go back to Child here, and then I'm going to leave my house, and then Link remembers that we have to social distance and quarantine ourselves, so he's going to go back into his house. And I'm going to take a nap, and what that does is that refills my magic meter. And then I'm going to go into this menu that says Relive a Battle. So they added like a boss rush to this game. And the boss rush unlocks when you have the Prelude of Light, which is why I had to go get it. And so something very interesting happens when you use that glitch to set Farore's Wind in places where you're not normally supposed to set it. After you've kind of entered and exited that little boss rush arena mode. So that's why I did all of that nonsense to go get the Prelude of Light, so that I could enter that menu and then leave and then set Farore's Wind. So this is probably the most difficult part of the run that's about to come up in a couple of in about a minute here. It's a very hard trick, and I might miss it a couple of times, and it kind of wastes a lot of time if I miss it. Wow, I like barely made that.
Yeah, so like when you place Farore's Wind, it remembers like which entrance number you put it at, and when you place it after that boss rush, it puts it at entrance basically -1. But -1 is used for something else very important in the game as well.
All right.
Very important, different feature.
Let's see if I get this. It's a bit early. Frame late. All right. All right, so we gotta try that again. Also, I already used my Deku stick, and I saved. Whoops, my bad. Okay, so I'm doing the same Farore's Wind glitch that I did earlier, except there's kind of an extra step to it this time. I need to pause on 1 frame during the blue warp nonsense. All right, I'm gonna grab another Deku stick here. Once I get that, I'm gonna save again, so I don't have to do that again. Oh yeah, Ocarina of Time 3D, all dungeons, no doors. That's my plug. Go watch it. Shameless plug. All right, so let's try that again. Yeah, like I said, this might take me a couple of tries to get. It's very difficult. There isn't like a great visual cue for it, so you just kind of gotta be good at the timing. All right, let's try it again. I think that's 1 frame early. Oh, but I got the 1 frame home buffer. Cool. So I got it. And nice. Now I'm here. So let me explain something before I talk about what's going on. So you'll see me going to the home menu to kind of buffer frames, and it's really unreliable and really hard to advance like 1 frame at a time while doing that, but it's kind of just like a little backup to like make sure that you're timing things correctly, because you can still technically advance 1 frame, but it's hard and not very reliable. But hey, so I'm adult, and you'll notice that my bottom screen is kind of like dimmed out. So what I just did, if you watch my AGDQ run from 2017, or any of my other speedruns, you'll kind of know what's going on, but I have now wrong warped to the title screen, and I am going to void out 14 times, and the reason why I'm voiding out 14 times is because I have basically loaded up what is known as the debug file. It's kind of like a file that the developers of this game use to kind of quickly get around, and basically this file has like pretty much all of the items. It's got a lot of hearts. It's got 14 hearts, hence voiding out 14 times. And yeah, and so the reason I'm on this is because what happens when you return Farore's Wind after placing it, yeah, like from the boss rush mode is that it actually just like soft resets the game basically. Like it just like warps you to the title screen like normally. But normally the title screen plays like just like it normally does. Like it'd be the same as soft resetting the game if you just normally returned that Furrow's Wind. However, blue warps have this really weird property where if there's like no cutscene that's about to play, there's like this 1 frame window where the game will just cancel any cutscene because it's like, hey, we're not supposed to play a cutscene because you already watched the cutscene, so we're just gonna cancel any cutscene that's about to play. So the game takes you to the title screen if you return Furrow's Wind on this 1 frame, but then it says, screw that cutscene, we're not gonna play it. And so I'm just walking around. Well, actually, I'm falling. Now I'm walking. While that cutscene like wants to play, so like I'm on the title screen, the cutscene's happening, except it's not happening, and I void out a bunch, and then after I'm done voiding out, I die in the water so that I can save the game, because there's no way to save the game until I die, and now I'm on the title screen file, got a ton of items, and where am I supposed to go? Not there. So yeah, that's how that works. So now that we're about an hour in, I think I've got like what? I've got like 5 dungeons to do.
I think so.
So that doesn't seem very proportional, but that's fine because I'm just gonna blast through some of these dungeons. And I need extra magic here. I think I need 2 drops.
Yeah, so with that, putting Furrow's Wind after the boss rush, the invalid like entrance value that gives you is the same as the value that the game normally uses to perform a soft reset. Like normally when you try to reset the game, it just sets that value and then that takes you to the title screen.
Oh.
So that's how we can sort of summon the title screen, I guess.
I can't Hess. That's fine. We're just gonna walk. Spend all those times without bombs and then you forget how to use them. Ah! Alright, hook shot. Okay. Now, one thing that does happen when you do this is like, since you basically saved another file on the slot 1, like a lot of the stuff that I already done kind of resets itself. And that's kind of why we've kind of defined all dungeons to be like, hey, as long as you beat all of the dungeons, like in the time frame without, pre-existing files, like you're good to go. All right, I should stop explaining that and explain something else because stuff's about to get really wacky right here. Like really wacky.
Yeah, this is more new glitches.
Yeah, so this is kind of crazy right here, and I need to kind of actually pay attention to what I'm doing. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm doing the Death Hole again, but this time I'm doing something kind of different. This is known as a Death Hole Void Warp. So pretty much is I return Furrow's Wind while exiting the grotto right there. So what that did is it took me to the coordinates of exiting the grotto, but it took me to the map of Furrow's Wind. So it basically just put me in a weird spot in Market Town. But since I exited the grotto, basically what just happened there was I did it again, but slightly differently, and I missed the loading zone. Alright, that's fine. Let's just try again. If this doesn't work, I'm going to be mid. Oh, I missed it again. Okay, that's not good. It's down left, right?
Yeah.
What the heck? Oh, I missed it again. Okay, that's really not good. Alright, I have to do that again. I haven't missed that in like a really long time. I have no idea what happened. Okay. Interesting. Well, it's a good thing I kind of saved. But that's not very good. That means I gotta redo a bunch of stuff. I really don't know why that didn't work. You have to hold a really specific control stick angle while it's happening, but I thought I'd come up with a strat that, like, made that a lot easier. And it hasn't failed until this point, so Let's hope it doesn't fail again.
Yeah, this is a very complicated sequence of events right here.
Yeah, this is like pretty nonsense.
So you do the normal death hole wrong warp, and then when you get into the grotto, you use Furrow's Wind at the same time that the grotto tries to take you away. And so, like Ben said, that you will go back to the market where Furrow's Wind tries to take you, but you'll have the coordinates that you would have had in Kakariko Village. Then when you reset Furrow's Wind, just because of the way things work out, Furrow's Wind will actually now be set in Kakariko Village, even though you're standing in the market. So then you do a similar warp like that, where you use Furrow's Wind at the same time that the market loading zone tries to take you away. And this time, since Furrow's Wind is in Kakariko Village, the way the entrances work out, that tries to take you actually to the Shadow Temple. Or sorry, the market loading zone tries to take you to the Shadow Temple. But the Furrow's Wind in Kakariko Village has coordinates that put you in a very convenient location in Shadow Temple.
It's super complicated. Like, the guy who figured this stuff out is actually a genius. He's like so smart. I had come up with like a really slow way to do this, and then he came up with a really bananas nonsense fast way to do it. But it's also kind of unforgiving. All right, let's get it this time.
Yep, so here's the warp to Shadow Temple.
All right, cool. So
but then, yeah, go ahead.
You are just barely, like, you are so close to the loading zone to the boss room in the Shadow Temple, like to go to Shadow Temple boss. But it's like you have to hold the control stick at like this super precise angle to actually like fall into it, like to just touch it barely. And so we can touch it, and it tries to take us to Shadow Temple boss, but since we're still in this wacky cutscene state, like title screen state, that actually takes us to Water Temple boss, which is good, because we need to beat Water Temple.
But it's even better.
Yeah, it's even better.
There's more to come.
I'm going to set Furrow's Wind here, and you're going to see. It's going to be good. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, come on.
Yeah, so the debug, I'm just responding to chat a bit. The debug file actually does not have the long shot, weirdly enough. It just has the regular hook shot, but that's good enough for this boss.
Yes. Yeah. Hook shot's just fine. There's a couple things that it's missing, predominantly like upgrades of other things. So like bomb bag upgrades, like Deku Nut, Deku Stick upgrades, Quiver upgrades, long shot, like strength upgrades. So you have Goron Bracelet, but you don't have like gold gauntlets or gauntlets. You have the broken giant snipe, but you don't have the big Goron sword. That's pretty much like the majority of stuff is missing. Also, weirdly enough, it's missing the spiritual stones. So like that's pretty wacky.
Yeah, it has all the medallions, but not the spiritual stones.
Okay, so I'm going to enter this blue warp, and that's actually going to try to take me to the correct location, because I'm still in the weird title screen glitch file nonsense. But trying to take me here, it just like doesn't play the cutscene. So you'll notice you can see it in the background like real quick there. And I'm going to return to Furrow's Wind. So that counts as beating the dungeon. Like I have the water medallion, and the game actually goes into a, hey, the water temple has been beaten state. So it just like conveniently skips the cutscene for us. And then you'll notice I set Furrow's Wind there again, right?
Yeah, so quiz time. Where is Furrow's Wind set now?
Where is Furrow's Wind set? If you're paying attention to that very long explanation and to what I was doing, you may know where it's set.
Shadow Temple is not wrong, but it's even better.
Even better. So now I go right to Bongo Bongo, because you'll remember that I was in Shadow Temple and that wacky thing where I was falling and I fell into the loading zone. right, I landed in the loading zone to Shadow Temple boss, but that took me to Water Temple, right? So if I set Frozwind there, when I was in the Death Hole wrong warp state, if I had returned to Frozwind, it just would have kept taking me back to Water Temple. But if I exit the Death Hole state, it'll take me to where it's supposed to go, which is, hey, Shadow Temple. Very cool. Shadow Temple boss. Alright, so now I'm going to take this guy out. Oh, this one cycle is kind of hard. I'm really bad at it. You can stun lock him. I'm just going to grab some extra magic. I don't need it, but... Cool. Alright, that's fine. I'm trying to think. We probably have time for like 1 or 2 donations right now.
All right, I did want to give a real quick update as well. We were talking about save versus kill earlier. So right now, Kill's winning by about $500 or so, 1,970 to save 1,452. If you would like to see those animals saved, and you remember you can also put that money towards the SMO nipple % run, please do so. We're only about $488 out of 1,250. So if you want to save the animals and free the nips, please do that. And again, I am a big advocate for save the animals. So let's not put those barbecued animals any further out in the lead than we already have. All right, folks? Also, it looks like, Ben, you've created a boss rush here using Feyor's Wind. Is that kind of like the real watered down version of explaining what this speedrun is?
At that particular part, yes. At least in all dungeons. So what we call it back in time because it's like it's kind of similar to the back in time glitch in like Twilight Princess and like Skyward Sword and stuff with doing the title screen and whatnot. But it's kind of different. But we call it that. That glitch is actually we kind of just don't allow it. And wow, I'm bad at aiming in a lot of categories because it's like. It's actually just so busted. So we allow it in all dungeons because that's kind of like a anything goes category. But to differentiate other categories, we kind of are just like, let's maybe just not do that.
Yeah, it's not allowed in MST, which is sort of like the category which is kind of like all dungeons, except super broken glitches aren't allowed. It's sort of a legacy version of all dungeons in some sense.
Yeah, so that's kind of what we use for that. But in this category, we allow it because we kind of want all dungeons to just be like, do whatever you want, just make it fast. I didn't set for his win, did I? I did not. That's fine.
I wasn't paying enough attention.
That only wastes like 30 seconds. And we're going to watch the funny cutscene.
Oh, yeah.
That's fine. We're going to do that instead. So I forgot to do something that's like super not that important. It just like saves a little bit of time. But it's fine because we're going to do something funny instead. But first I got to do this.
Oh, so this is a hookshot jump.
Oh yeah, this is the first one of these we're seeing.
If you interrupt like the hookshot by switching your boots, you fly up in the air.
Really fast. I should have
Really
untargeted
fast.
there so that you could appreciate just how high up I had gone. Come on. I can't get it. All right, there we go. So pretty much what happens is when you aim really high up and then you take off your boots. So they added this animation to this game since they made hover boots and iron boots like an equipable item. They added this animation where Link does this cute little hop to put on and take off boots. And what that does, let me equip you. What that does is, if you play an animation basically on the same frame that you hookshot something, the game actually cancels the animation of you like connecting to the hookshot target. But you keep all of your vertical like velocity, so it kind of just like makes you go up really, really fast.
Fast enough to go through the ceiling up there.
fast enough to go through the ceiling and to navigate my way into the boss landing zone. That one's actually really hard because you need like a ton of height. So, and the higher up you aim, the harder it is to kind of time the correct input for it. But the higher you aim, the higher you go. Okay, I'm gonna do a little funny here. And the game's stable equipped too. So we're just gonna enter this loading zone with the iron boots, and it's good. So we're gonna watch a funny little cutscene here. So normally you're supposed to watch this cutscene as a child, of course. Oh, I was supposed to set for Rosewind in Death Mountain Trail, so I gotta do that at least.
Oh yeah, that one's actually important.
That one's actually, so I'll leave and come back. I should be like right next to the loading zone. So yeah, first off, Link's making some uncharacteristic noises here. Okay, so he is going to give me the Goron Ruby, except I'm just gonna spoil it. The Goron Ruby you're gonna see it. It's there, but you really gotta look for it. You really gotta look for it. So if you can spot the Goron Rupee in this cutscene, you get a prize. But it's there. I'm looking at it right now. Does anyone see it? I'll give you a hit. It's in the back right. All right. Well, if you saw it, you get a prize. So it's not actually small, it's just like really far away. It's like in the background. Okay, and then right here, Link does some zoomies. There it goes.
Do we have time for a quick donation?
Yes, right now it's probably a good time.
All right, we have $20.68 from Mr. Shasta, who says, "Balls in your core chat, free the nips and save the animals." Nice, or almost nice for the 68 cents there, Mr. Shasta. But again, that's $20.68 from Mr. Shasta. Thank you so much. And remember, folks, free the nips, save the animals. Let's get a choo-choo train going towards that, all right?
Choo-choo.
Thank you.
Hey, no problem. Almost nice. Dang. Hate to see it. Okay. So that cutscene's great. I love it. I probably was going to do that anyways, even if I remembered to go fast. So that's fine. 30 seconds means nothing to me. It means less than nothing. Okay, so normally a lot of times what we would do is we would do some glitches to get to the top of Spirit Temple to get to like the Mirror Shield. But we already have the Mirror Shield and like we're already going fast and stuff. So what we're actually going to do is we're going to climb it normally because the title screen file gives me like a bunch of keys in all of the dungeons. Oh, I messed that up. So I don't need to collect any keys because you'll see I have 8 keys right now. But I gotta do.
One thing the title screen doesn't give you is strength upgrades.
Oh, keep messing
or the
up.
silver gauntlets. So he has to do this little trick still to get past this block.
This is like not actually a hard trick, but I'm throwing spaghetti all over myself. Gonna have to wash my feet in the bathtub.
Feet in the bathtub.
There we go. All right, this is
okay. What is that about? Just when you get a chance.
Just before this run started, I had a bit of a ravioli incident, and I had to wash my feet in the bathtub.
It's because the expensive can openers don't work. They're worse than the cheap ones.
It's a whole thing.
Use the cheap can openers, okay? They're not as good, apparently. Oh, my goodness. Okay.
Sorry. It was too good, Ben.
Okay, so we're gonna keep climbing Spirit Temple here. And yeah, for the most part, we're like, this is pretty much the intended way to climb it, except we're just skipping all of the small keys. So it's like actually not at all the intended way to climb Spirit Temple. You'll notice another thing I'm doing, because I mentioned earlier that, that I talked about how putting on and taking off the hover boots has a little animation. You can skip that by performing other actions at the same time. So I'm gonna do stuff like I don't need any more magic. I don't think. By like rolling or opening doors. Okay, so I'm gonna untarget for this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always do for this one anyways, because you'll see like kind of just how high up I'm going. Yeah, that one was pretty good. So you just kind of you go up really high. And that skips the boss key, even though I have the boss key. So, you know.
Still faster than going to the door.
Yeah. Wonder if they're... Oh, I think we looked into trying to find a fast way to get in there, but I don't think there is one. Because that would even be faster if we could, when we're in the main room with the statue, if we could, like, just clip into the head and open the door normally, but...
You can open the face if you have ISG with the stick glitch, the put away stick thing.
Yeah, but we would need the stick to do that.
True.
Eight. Actually, I totally counted wrong. Alright, I'm not going to count anymore. Alright, normally I count there to see, because I could have gotten in an extra jump slash there at the end and finished the fight. But I lost count of how much damage I was doing, so I was like, whatever. Yeah, right now is probably another good time if we have like another donation or two, because a couple of cutscenes here.
All right, sounds good. We have $20 from door number 4 who says, hashtag I'm with Shasta Choo Choo. $50 from Dangerous who says, free the nips, save the animals. This is a really, really, really nice choo-choo train we have started so far. We're $30 away from 7,500. And there's a lot more meme numbers to be had and a lot more nips to be saved. So let's do it, folks.
So yeah, this fight coming up is usually not super interesting, but we can actually do something kind of neato, if I do say so myself, to kind of make it a little less boring. Because one of the items that I have here is the Giant's Knife, but the problem with the Giant's Knife is that it breaks like really quickly, but it does do a lot of damage. So since power crouch stabbing doesn't work in this game, which is a glitch where you can kind of store damage values with the crouch stab and basically just do a lot of damage really, really quickly. We can't do that. So on the second part of this fight, normally we have to make it like 2 cycles, which is kind of slow. But since we have Giant's Knife, we can actually skip that. But it's a little tricky because you have to jump slash in a very specific way to like make sure that the Giant's Knife doesn't snap in half as you're doing it. So yeah, it's not super hard, but you kind of just really need to know what you're doing. Also, this part of the fight is like super random and kind of bullshit. So yeah, they're giving me a slow pattern so far.
I like it how you tell it the way it is, Ben.
It's not good. It's not good.
Yeah.
Sometimes when they're over top of these little platforms, like around the arena, they'll give you 2 shots in a row. We call those the double, or the lay double for the initiated. See right there, the red one. I don't know their names. I know they're Kome and Kotake. Is that it? Right? Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm bad.
I don't know which one is which either.
I don't know which one's which. The fire one could have given me a double right there, but did not. I think the odds... I forgot. I think someone recently figured out what the odds of getting one are.
I think it ended up being 1 in 8 each
8?
time.
Sounds about right. I swear I do not have video recording of it. But I've gotten 5 in a row once. And I know Jamama has a recording of getting 4. So do the math. I've also gotten Dead Hand to clip out of the room like 5 times, which... Don't quote that number, but I would say 5 is probably correct. Which people will say that the odds of that are like crazy small. Oh! I'm a fool! Ah!
You're such a fool. What are you doing?
Okay, don't. I forget. I took it. So you don't actually shield when you have your sword out. When you got a big sword. I'm not used to having a big sword. I'm a fool. Just disregard. Disregard. Oh, that didn't even work. Okay, that's fine. We're gonna try this one more time here. Oh. Oh no! What? The sword broke for some reason. Okay, I was trying to go fast. Alright, well that's actually like kind of really bad. Because now she's going to give me random attacks. Like I might not necessarily get what I want here. Yeah. That's really odd. For some reason, you can do that last attack and just have it like not work. Like it doesn't do the full damage because the sword breaks before you actually get the attack in. Okay. She's giving me bad luck. Well, it's a really good thing I grabbed that backup heart from Bongo. Alright. Yep, this is fine. Alright. Well. You hate to see it. Alright. Disregard, disregard. I don't know why I hook shot. I'm out of my element right now. Alright, so give me fire again. We're good. We're good. We're good. Alright. Fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. We're good.
That was an adventure.
That was, I think, the worst fight I've ever had. Which is fine. This run was actually been kind of fine until that happened. Minus the boat skip thing. That was not very good. Okay, Kotake is the blue one. Kome is the red one. There you go. We figured it out. It was all worth it.
Good to know. I'm not going to remember this by the end of this cutscene.
I won't either. I was going to tell you it was the other way around, so I'm probably still going to think that's what it is after this. I don't even remember anymore. I've already forgotten. Yeah, I would have died if this was Master Quest. If you don't know, on Master Quest, everything is mirrored, and you also take double damage from everything. It's kind of bad. Alright, so one thing I didn't mention when I beat Shadow Temple is that both Shadow and Spirit Temple, for some reason, if you have the medallions already, which being on the title screen file, I already have those. It just kind of doesn't play the cutscenes for beating the dungeons, but it still does, yeah, do what it's supposed to do. Yeah, actually, this wasn't a launch title. The 3DS launched in March of 2011, and this game came out in June. Yeah.
3DS had like no launch games.
It had Steel Divers. It had like a racing game. I forget what the name
Pilot
of the racing
Wings
game was.
2 or whatever.
Pilot Wings. Just Pilot Wings
Or
3D.
Pilot 3D?
3D. Yeah. And
Super
then
Street Fighter 5, I think.
and it had Combat of
4.
Giants, Dinosaurs 3D. Which is frankly ahead of its time. In fact, well, the run's almost over, but you should probably like look up the Wikipedia explanation for it.
No, Bottom of the Well, Ice Cavern, and Gerudo's Training Grounds do not count as dungeons because they don't have blue warps.
Yeah, so you gotta have a blue warp for it to be considered a dungeon. So there are 8 dungeons. There's the 3 child dungeons, and then the 5 adult dungeon. You gotta beat all those.
And this is the last one.
This is the last one. Thank goodness, because I'm pretty sure that estimate says an hour and 35 minutes, and I'm at an hour and 28 minutes. So that would be bad if there's another one. Okay. Yeah. So this is the last boss. Oh, one thing to explain here with this boss. It looks like I'm going to be doing something kind of like that's nonsense. But there's actually 2 Volvazias during this fight. There's the one that pokes its head out and tries to beat you up. And then there's the one that flies around the room. But you can actually do damage to the one... Oh, I meant to get hit there. You can do damage to the one that...
Of course.
No, I did. It's faster. You can deal damage to the one that pokes its head out. Or, I'm sorry, the one that flies around. Because he's still, like, chilling in the hole right there. While the other one goes around and tries to beat you up. Oh yeah, look at Volvazia's arms real quick. Look at those things. What those arms do.
Amazing.
Alright, oh yeah, time may or may not be coming up, depending on whether or not I get this trick. Oh. Come on. So just be ready on time, and I'll let you know in a second if it's actually time. Okay, it's actually time. But not yet. Give me 1 second. And time. There we go.
GG.
Cool. Credits were 1:30:10. Not terrible, but also pretty bad. That Twin Robo fight was kind of the worst thing I've ever done in my life. But other than that, no, this one was decent. Besides the boat skip was also not good. I don't know why that like didn't work. Still don't. Gonna have to lab that one.
This is fun. I enjoyed watching.
But did you enjoy talking?
Yeah.
Dude, that's sick. Yeah, that's sick. Well, hey, that's all I've got.
Well, thank you for that run. That was awesome.
That's what I do. I played the video game fast. And hey, I hear there's another gamer playing a video game after this, right?
There is a real gamer coming up in that it is a real cutie playing Super Metroid. Been excited for this. We really got to amp up that save kill though to make it interesting. Thank you again, benstephens56. Please give Ben a follow. All right, coming up next, we will have Super Metroid by a real cutie. In the meantime, let's get some updates here regarding some donations. Right now, we are $1,971 for kill and $1,542 for save. Now, remember, for the SMO nipple percent run, you can put those donations towards both the nipple percent run and towards either save or kill. So remember, you can do that. So I'm still going with the statement, free the nips and save the animals. All right, I want to see both of those things happening in the Super Metroid run. Don't let down Real Cutie. We want to see a very close contest here between those two. And hey, in that close contest, we may be able to hit 8,000 as well. So let's shoot for both of that. So right now, we do have $1.32 from a Silent Harmony who says, "Choo choo, I believe in you, chat." I do expect to be seeing a SMO nipple donation train here, with hopefully them going to save, because again, the phrase is save the animals, free the nips, not kill the animals, free the nips. That doesn't make any sense, all right? So save the animals, free the nips, all right? Do the thing. Yeah, I accept puns. I told y'all I was going to accept puns. Remember, we don't... Oh, yes?
Oh, sorry. I was gonna say, have you ever thought about how there are Kokiris in the credits of this game, just hanging out in Lon Lon Ranch?
Yeah, that's not very cool at all. Right? Aren't they supposed to like die when they leave the forest?
I've always thought that was weird.
It says they can't leave on the sign. It never said anything about them dying when they left.
Do you think maybe it's like you ever seen the movie The Village? Maybe it's like that. Maybe it's like they're being lied to. Maybe the Deku Tree is actually like kind of evil and brainwashing them, and like everyone's just like taking it at face value. So maybe I'm not trying to put anything in people's heads here, right? But like,
are you saying the Deku Tree's offering Kool-Aid to the Kokiri?
I'm not saying anything. I'm just, I'm just saying that I think, unlike the Kokiri, you should think for yourself and maybe try to connect the dots, okay?
Oh my gosh. I have so many questions now.
Link is like
That's good.
like
you should have questions.
Or not the the giver is like the you know this reference I'm trying to make?
Yeah, it's the book.
You got it. The book.
It's been a real long time since I read that.
Not to be confused with the Giving Tree. That's different than the Giver, alright? Don't read both books expecting the same thing, okay?
Check out this running man right here.
Oh yeah,
this is the best part of the credits.
He's coming, dude.
He's
what
coming.
would you say if I told you all we don't see the credits right now? We see California's landscape.
Oh.
Ooh,
Okay, well I had a good time.
that's fine. The Golden Gate Bridge. That's hey, it's cinematic.
Y'all had to know at some point. I'm sorry.
I was talking about that guy running across the bridge. You didn't see him?
He was in there.
The chat was having a fun time. They were having a fun time thinking that you all thought that they were still seeing the credits of this game. But I went with it because it was fun. We have $5 from the Sound Defense who says, if we all donate just $5 or $2.50 per nipple, dang, Sound Defense, we can unlock nipple percent in no time at all. Let's do it. Thanks, Sound Defense. Yes, $5. I think I've said the word nipple more times tonight than in my entire life, so there you go. Donate $5 and I'll keep saying it. $5 train. And remember, folks, this does go for Direct Relief. This is the Calithon Coronavirus Relief Marathon benefiting Direct Relief. Remember that Direct Relief is a humanitarian aid organization active in all 50 states and more than 80 countries with a mission to improve the health